Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the TV show, and its name is The Arts in Exile. And today we have John M. White. He is going to be talking about birds on a wire, a theme within his painting that has come from his art days at school up north someplace. Thank you.
Also featured in today's show is Russell Stockard. He's a professor at Cal Lutheran University in Thousand Oaks, and the topic of his poetry is his father.
Okay, and continuing on our journey through music land now, we are bringing a fair lady from I don't know where, but she's here now, and she is Donna Lynn Caskey. Oh, a banjo sweetheart if you've ever seen one, ladies and gentlemen.
Also on today's show is David Oliver. He'll be presenting a preview of a piece that he's preparing for Burning Man.
And now, all the way from Wisconsin, Nina Clements with a lovely, endearing poem about mother.
Hold on to your hats. In Anna's escape from the underworld, she's rolled away the stone, and here to tell you all about it is Marsha de la O.
And now, on with the show.
Almost the first week of, taking an art class from this person, name was Giacomo Padri. This person who was almost like ended up becoming like a second father to me. From that very moment, I just knew that I was doing the right thing. And he gave me an assignment, and I went upstairs to do the project, and the project was basically, he wanted me to look out the window for 3 hours. This is my second year there, and he said, I want you to go up in your room, and tonight, for 3 hours, look out a window and record what you see. And you don't have to put it on paper or do anything, you just tell me about it tomorrow. And I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but I went up and I did it, and he said, you can take a potty break and have some food for yourself, but do 3 straight hours at least, 3 or 4 hours. So I went up there and I began staring out the window, and I focused on blackbirds and birds on telephone wires. And I was inspired. After about an hour of that, I decided to do some drawings that way. So I did a bunch of drawings, and then I came down the next morning and showed him, and he said, these are the best things I've seen in a long time. And I didn't, all I did was just, I followed his instruction, and then what I saw, I transferred to paper. And so then he started explaining what I did, because I wasn't still at that level of being able to explain why I would fill the page up on the left side and not on the right side, and leave big spaces in the middle and make lines coming down on the sides. That was all up to him, and he was at the same time teaching me a composition. But anyway, I did that, and it was an extraordinary experience, and I learned how to see. At the school, at Patri's school, right early, within a month, that this is what I wanted to do. And then I happened to get in a conversation with Patri. He'd like to have little chats with you with his coffee in the morning. And he would teach morning, and then he'd teach the afternoon. And this was a guy who was in his 70s, and he was had suffered from polio, so he had a few canes. He had canes to get around. And but he was, as they say in football now, he's a beast, which is a complimentary expression, which is somebody who's very strong. So Giacomo was a beast. I've never called him a beast, but anyway. The epiphany was within the first week. I said, I don't care if I'm going to be a good artist or an artist or whatever. I just enjoy what this person's doing. And so I told him in the coffee break, and he said, that's a great attitude. He said, it sounds like, and I didn't even know what it meant. He says it to me. He said, it sounds like you like the process. Okay, and there was a couple of other students. We're all having our coffee break. And they all nodded, and I didn't know what the heck that meant, the process, as it related to doing art. And then within a couple of weeks, I began to realize that I enjoyed just kind of like learning and doing it, and hands-on, and his classes were anywhere from 7 to 15 people in a classroom. That was it. And a lot of them were part-time people who helped support the school and supported his ideas. And then there was a few people like me who just moved into the building, lived upstairs in a small little garret. Very kind of like romantic art idea. And we just lived art. Something happens and you can make something out of it. I mean, I like to make form out of sometimes things that don't make any sense to me even, I really like that idea, which is to, you got a bunch of crazy thoughts and whatever, and you can sit down actually at your work area or whatever, or painting, and put together those ideas and make some kind of a thing, and you can say, hey, maybe I've resolved this problem, or maybe I've resolved all these funny thoughts in a piece. Okay, so you make form out of it. And I really, really love that idea.
All right, for my first poem, I am going to address the relationship with my father. Not fully, of course, but a lot of my poems tend to go in that direction. So this is one called Untitled. I don't know if you taught me how to tell truth from the wind. Can we settle the endless arguments about bird songs curing cancer? I remember our driving to the hospital when you decided to cut both the grass and your fingers. When you wantonly used destroyed crossroads to sweeten the holiday house air, as hog guts simmered and sang in their pots, I began to understand the meaning of now.
I tried to follow all the rules, afraid that God is cruel. Years and years of books and school, I still feel like a fool. Still feel like a fool. Oh, I know that nothing lasts, but I keep getting attached. And the changes come so fast, fade into the past, fade into the past. I will love my life, I will love my life, as it passes by, as it passes by. I will love my life, I will love my life. I've been tempted to meet with a drunken, useless cheat. Bliss and endless misery, but oh, he sings so sweet. Oh, he sings so sweet. When the veil is thin, spirits mingle, foes are friends. We won't speak of this sight, even if it doesn't feel right, even if it's not how I like. I will love my life. When we say goodbye at our time to die, is it worth the sacrifice? We pay the highest price, pay the highest price. I will love my life, I will love my life, as it passes by, as it passes by. I will love my life, I will love my life, I will love my life.
I'm going to read a poem called Listening to the Day. The day speaks, and the man remembers his father graying, but still heart young, and him. Walking to the top of a hill and gazing out over the canyon to the next range of hills, the father wondered aloud at the green rolling hills, no longer brown in the new California winter. Joy overflowing his cup, grateful for the time with his firstborn, his namesake. Inhaling the moment, the father felt 10 feet tall, survivor of the war the world never wanted, but had to gravely endure. Now peace bound the parent and son, and time ground to a halt, despite the permafrost melt in Siberia and the loss of honeybee colonies, immigrants massing at the southern border. No one, nothing could drive a wedge between the two men as they listened to the day.
The beacon ball calls in all its complexion for its next collection. Collection pans they then do collect. Collect what, you might ask? Well, they're like rays that obey all of the ways, the back and the forth, the yes and the no, the good and the bad. A copper collection rod then concentrates this collection for a further inspection. Upon completion of this further inspection, this collection is then divided by an archetypal dissection. And now you may say, it's a dissection of what? What is like a ray that obeys all of the ways and requires a further inspection? Well, I am here to tell you that they are here for me and for you, to fill up true, to break down, fall, and to show up. With 8 beacons, there are a total of 8 collections, but what do they collect? Well, it's like electricity. It's excited and it's free and it just wants to be. Water, fire, death, and life. Beacon number 8 is the tallest of the beacons, measuring 24 feet tall, is the color yellow, and is the beacon of luminescence. Beacon number 7, measuring exactly 6 feet from the center beacon, is green and is the sentient beacon. Beacon number 6, measuring 5 foot 6 inches from beacon number 7 and 6 foot 6 inches from the center beacon, is blue and is the water beacon. Beacon number 5, measuring 6 foot from 6 and 7 foot 6 inches from center, is purple, the dark beacon. Beacon number 4, measuring 7 foot from 5 and 9 foot from center, is red, the fire beacon. Beacon number 3, measuring 7 foot from 4, 10 foot 6 inches from center, is red-orange, the departing beacon. Beacon number 2, 10 foot 6 inches from 3, 12 foot from center, is orange, the identity beacon. And finally, for beacon number 1 is the smallest of the beacons, measuring 12 feet tall, 15 feet from 2, 14 foot 6 inches from center, is yellow, creating a completion of the color wheel, and is the omnipresent beacon. And now I would like to pause and take a closer look at the math to all of this before we move on. If you add up the numbers on the circumference of this conical shape, you are left with the number 51. Now add up the number 5 plus the number 1 and you get the number 6. We'll remember this number 6 for future reference and move on to radiated measurements. Add them up and they equal 66. Add the 6 plus the 6 and get 12. Now add the 1 to the 2 and get 3. Take this 3, add it to the remembered number 6 and you get 9. Completion while a citizen is visiting Project Beacons. One may choose to sit quietly at the base of the beacon of their choice, and while sitting there, absolutely nothing may happen. Or maybe, just maybe, nothing will happen. But regardless of whether nothing or nothing happens, one thing is for sure. This collection is no longer a collection. It's a symbol here on Earth. It's a symbol that binds to a code that is embedded on our hearts, in our minds, and it weaves our dreams. Beacons.
The bee and the wasp. There is a buzzing, close, nestled behind the ear. Is it the bee or is it the wasp? The voice will spare you nothing. For the daughter, nothing. I think you're my daughter, she says, but she can't be sure. You are both peeling skin from the soles of your feet, but she will not call your flesh her own. Instead, you walk barefoot in the gravel. The pebbles in your wounds remind you that you can feel. Blood flows from your heels. You want the bee who can hurt you only once, who spends her life guarding her one perfect threat. But wasps, they sting and sting, wings singing as the phone rings.
Our mother was the primordial sea. My father, a passing dragon. I am. I was born with a great hunger that caused me to attack them. I am the elder sister, the despised one. The dead come to me because they have to. They drop down like grains of sand. No one pities me. I am a dark wind, a cold flame. My name is Gall. They say I drink their tears. I drink their tears. Sisters, winch sisters, heart-wrung, stung, scalded, undone. Flinch sisters, heart-wrung, stung, scalded, undone sisters, in Bone City, hung from a hook, sister, hanging in Moan City, moaning in Broken Bone City, broken bone city, scalded, undone, frenzied one, sisters. Open the door, gatekeeper. I alone would enter. Who are you? I am Inanna. I used to be Queen of the Blue. I know who you are. How do you like my dirty little heaven? But oh, I forget myself. How kind you are, sister. Miss Starlight sets aside her birthright to visit us. Why, you're crying. Now, here. You've come to the end of your journey, and we shall receive you, won't we? Receive her and relieve her of her last possession. What did you expect? Beer and butter cake? We'd wash you in milk and clothe you in silk? Receive her and relieve her of her last possession.
This Taco Bell is pretty good. That's pretty funny, man.
I'm lonely, I'm lonely, I'm lonely. Bring her back, wake her. Wake my sister. Slake me. This thirst is never slaked. I did well to come here. All that is ends. And yet I struggle. You did well to come here. And yet I struggle. With the little dish you caught my blood. All that is ends. With the little net you caught my soul. Am I devoured? Overpowered, scoured. You gave the grain field the field in harvest. My love is the wheat you are reaping. And yet I struggle. With a little net you caught my soul. My love is the field you are reaping. Weeping, weeping for my lover. The stone closed over me so that I might know terror. The stone closed over me so I could let go of power. Are you the rain shower, musk flower? I pass through terror to reach love. Is love the blood flower that blooms on?
And this last poem has to do with a moment we're not proud of, but a moment that is unfortunately typical of America, and specifically racial relations, racial justice and injustice. So this is called Take a Breath, and this is for George F. Take a breath, not a deep one, only one. Imagine one breath, only one. How can one breath, only one, mean more than any other one? Every minute, maybe a dozen times, the air goes in and out. Is one breath sweeter than all the rest? Does the first breath we take mean more than the next one?
Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.